Well, welcome to Kicking It with Keneisha. I'm really excited about the first episode. You guys don't know how long it has been for me to actually get this together, so I'm really excited. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I'm going to be speaking with my first guest, my oldest child, Tiandra, so stay tuned. Well, welcome to Kicking It with Keneisha. Today is the first episode. I'm really excited about finally getting my voice heard. So this has been a long journey. Just trying to get this together, getting it put together. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what we have here. I am your host, Keneisha. And today, this is my very first guest, Tiandra.
Hi.
Okay, so let me just rewind. I do have footage that I've done from before, but I'm like we will be showing you guys these. But this is a fresh new approach on what the idea is. I'm just excited about just being able to bring all of the things that I am passionate about and bring some type of balance into your life groups, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. I'm in my 40s and I guess I'm going to start this dating process again. So we'll be talking about that a little bit. I realize my toxic traits. So we're working on that and healing. So it's all about healing. And the people that we're going to be have lined up to talk to us about are everyday people that have are making strides to do something great in this world. So that's really what we're talking about. And I'll be sipping my tea. So Tiandra, today, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Embarking this journey with me. So, first, let's talk about you. What is it that you are looking to do as far as, like, well, let's talk about where you are with your projects and things of that nature, and your businesses, and let's talk to them about that.
I feel like I'm a little all over the place, honestly, but I feel like everything is coming into alignment. We have some charity events that we have. We have new projects coming out. Like, I think the biggest thing for me is like helping people get their businesses up and running.
Okay.
And a lot of people, they swear that they have it all figured out, they have it all together, and then when I try to come in and just see where it's at, they don't have it together. But I'm definitely seeing more so in the black and brown communities where people just feel like they got it, they don't need help. So that's where I'm trying to tweak some things with that and kinks out with that. But that's about it right now.
So, do you find that people in business, they either are not educated enough as to make their businesses grow? Do you feel that they are not looking, or do you feel that they're being misguided from? I'm looking at a lot of people on Instagram and
I feel
YouTube.
like it's a combination of all three, actually.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people are looking at people on social media and trying to copy what they're doing and missing some behind the scenes steps. I feel like you have people that know it all, and it's like you really don't know anything. And I'm coming across, especially like the older people, like the younger people, they take a little heed, they take to it, they try to take it, implement, and you'll see a difference. Where the older generation is like, oh, I already did this, I got this from the ground up, so I'm good, I don't need nothing. And then it's like, well, when I'm looking, your business is not protected. If you get hit with a cease and desist somewhere down the line, and it's like, well, where did this come from? But y'all not taking heed to the information. And I feel like at first I tried to charge real high for it, then I tried to charge real low for it, then I was giving it out for free. Like,
So, do you find that when people were getting information for free that they did not want it?
They didn't want it.
So it's really a mindset in our culture. And so you would figure that in we would say older people in my age range, in the brown community with my age range. So it's like my group, we need to do something to get better. We need to actually take the steps to be able to show the younger generation, instead of hating on them and, oh, these young kids don't have it together, and like try to take pages from their books and learn from them, possibly on where the disconnect is for getting generational wealth. I think that there are a lot of people that have the thought process, but then they don't have the steps to take. So if they don't have the steps to take, or even the mindset to take the steps, I was reading something earlier today, and the guy was saying basically like one of the best books you can read would be Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There's a couple of other books, but Think and Grow Rich, and I feel like that book was very profound because we put in a lot of reading
I was
in
about
that.
to say, actually, with that book, we read it's two different versions.
Hmm.
We read it a few times and actually broke it down and talked about it, and really, I do feel like it did change the mindset in the beginning. Like
Hmm.
that kind of.
So when you start seeing that your mindset changed, and like the guy that I was watching something that he had and like reading what his commentary said, basically it's like it was three books, but we'll talk about the Think and Grow Rich. With that, he said if you can do all kinds of investments and anything, but if your mind is not right, then no matter how much money you make, you're never going to build wealth. And that's where the key goal is. Like, you don't really want to be rich anymore, you want to be wealthy, because wealth is
Well,
generational.
technically speaking, rich and wealth is only one difference between the two, and that's your resources. So, wealth you have a little bit more resources than you do if you're rich. Because a lot
Okay.
of people look like, oh, well, I don't want to be rich, I want to be wealthy, but it's really the same thing. It's just wealth, you have more resources.
Well, I want to be able to have the resources
Mhm.
generationally.
Mhm.
I don't want it to be where I'm the one that's have the money and it's money in the bank and I'm not able to do anything with it because I'm constantly working with it. I want to be able to have my money making money so that eventually when you start having children and they start having children, it's going to be long, like how I'm looking at the Walton type long, I'm looking at the
The
Bezos
Ford.
type, like Ford. Yeah, like, I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, there are people that have, but I'm looking at their longevity, like Thomas Edison, he has a lot of things going on. Henry Ford, he had a lot of things going on. And
John
Henry,
Deere.
John Deere, yes. So these people are all, their names are still living, and they've been going hundreds of years, and their name is still going, and their vision is still going, and they're able to continue to thrive because they have the resources available for their younger generations. And that's what I'm looking to be able to do for our family, and to be able to take what we learned, basically taking the tools that my grandfather put in place, passed it on to my father, now to me, and now to you, and then to keep it going generationally like that. So I feel like I'm really, really, I'm excited about this day and age, but then I'm also really extremely grateful that my grandfather had these thought processes, and not just my grandfather, like, my grandmother and grandfather on both sides, like, had the thought process to think about their future, and they instilled that in my mom and dad, which now instilled into me. And now I'm taking the lessons that they've thought, and I did drop the ball. I'm not going to dispute that I didn't, but now I'm taking the things that, like, picking up the ball and being able to move forward, and not only just taking the things that I've learned from them, but now instilling it in you guys. And I'm seeing that you guys are doing pretty decently with, having a generational wealth mindset, and the wealthy mindset, and the get rich, and not doing it like, unortho what do you call it,
Unorthodox.
unethically. So I'm really proud of that.
Aw.
I I wanted to also go into, like, we'll be doing spiritual and healing. So a lot of the things that we do, like, just with trying to stay in this world, it's like a lot of people are really weird to me. I don't know when I could start saying the weirdness started happening for me, but it did start happening at a point in time where it made me feel like, all right, spiritually we have to get it together. I'm not saying that we need to be religious. There's a big difference with religion and spirituality to me. I don't necessarily feel like you have to have a religion or you have to be religious in anything, because I'm not religious in anything, but having a spiritual practice where you're able to get in tune with yourself and to be able to go within and get direction and guidance from your higher power, whatever you may be. It may be God, it may be Allah, it may be Buddha, it may be Chair,
Snow
it may
too.
be Snow Too, it may be whoever you decide that you look at as your higher power. You can look at it, your higher power. And yes, I grew up and it was God, and Jesus was the way, but I don't necessarily feel like the way that I was taught about Jesus and the things that we learned about Jesus is exactly the way that it is. So I'm never going to be the one that's going to say anybody's spiritual practice or anybody's spiritual belief, whether it's religiously or non-religiously, is going to be something that's, your spiritual path, your spiritual journey is up to you. For me, it's a daily basis, and it's like I'm constantly trying to take a control over my energy. And that's where the struggle is, because why they say energy and emotion, and I'm keep being told that I'm a very emotional person. And I'm learning how to work with this energy and to be able to put it in motion for the positive in my life. And when things keep coming up wrong, which they will and they do, I'm just be able to stay in the same space with my energy. So that's where the spiritual practice is at for me. Building generational wealth and building businesses, because I did have a calling that I was supposed to help 1 million millionaires become 1 million people become millionaires. And I'm just trying to understand this calling. It's been maybe about a year, and just to get to myself, to get to that place where I'm being called to a higher calling to be able to help others. So I'm trying to take people on a journey with me, but I see a lot of people feel like, well, we want to see you do it. Why you ain't doing it? Why you ain't a millionaire? How can you say you're going to help us be a millionaire and you're not doing it? Where, I'm steady just plucking away, and you take the journey with me. If you want to, you can. I have things that we're working on, and I'll be documenting them along the way and putting them here on the channel so that you guys can see there are things out there. There are people out there that are doing things on social media, and they're making decent salaries on social media. So we'll be showcasing them and testing out their theories and seeing if their theories are actually working. If they're workable, we'll share them with you. If you're not, we'll share you why we didn't think they were workable, and then we'll um, try to tweak it to make it where they are workable. So these are the things, and then we're looking at who's capping and who's not capping. I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna be like, oh, this
I'll
person's.
name drop, Sonny.
I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna say who's lying and who's not lying. I'm
It
positivity.
depends. Depends on my mood.
You don't have to name drop. We don't do that. We're not gonna. My whole goal is to build up and just take this little corner of the world and to be able to put as much positivity and light into this world, because we are in the dark times and we are living in a pretty crazy space. And I mean, ultimately, we are human and we're all going to make mistakes. We're going to do embarrassing shit. We're going to do things that will make us feel bad. We're going to do things like life is going to life, and it's going to be a fucked up place for some. Some days it's going to be fucked up, some days it's not. So what we're going to try to do is take the dark spaces of life and just be able to illuminate some type of light and positivity on a bad situation, and be able to just let you know to keep on going, keep on going. Generational wealth is obtainable, happiness and peace is obtainable. Control over your life, manifestation, we're definitely going to be doing a lot of manifestation here, because that's just really the only way that you'll be able to create your life. We're big on believing in creating your own life and making the decisions of how you want your life to be and where you want it to be and who you want to be in your life. So we'll be doing a lot of manifestation, meditation. I'm big on meditation and yoga and just everything peace and prosperity. You'll see recipes and tips, because I'm a nutritionist and I am on a weight loss journey, and we'll be posting. Right now we're in the month of August and we're doing the 10K challenge. My challenge is to earn $10,000 by the end of this month. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't worked a corporate job in, it's been 18 months. 18 months. So everything is like straight from the mud. So we'll be expressing that and just opening up a little bit more into what's going on in our world as far as business. I know that I'm a very private person, so things that I go through, I really tend to try to keep them to myself. But the lady was telling me, it was a lady, a random stranger that just came to me and started talking to me, which happens to me a lot often. When she was saying that you have a message and the things that you've been through in life, you really need to share with others so that it could possibly help somebody else out. So we will be sharing a little bit more and going a little bit more into just being a human being. I think sometimes I portray myself, and this is me just really taking away layers and peeling away layers, because we are always portraying ourselves to be something. And honestly, I don't know what the perception of me is, because when I hear people talk about me, I'm like, damn, y'all don't even know me. So I'm not really desiring for people to actually know me, but I'm just really wanting to help the next person. I really don't care if anybody knows me or not know me. I just really would like for the next person to be able to be helped with things. And we have serious issues that we could deal with, as far as like near death experience, or dealing with death and dying and coping and depression and breakup of marriages and divorce and being a single mom and raising children, in this world to be productive people and to not hate when you have a lot of bitterness and anger and hate inside, and dealing with emotions and trying to heal and dealing with things on your own because you don't know who else to talk to or who to turn to. Like, there's a lot of things that you would be surprised that people are going through things and they're dealing with things.
And I'm sorry, I hear that, and I just feel like that's not an excuse at this point in time in life. Like, just me sitting on a sit back and just observing everything and being a part of different organizations and groups and being around people, you see it's grown ass people too that be 50 plus years old out here acting a fool, and then it's like, oh well, I'm acting like this because I'm dealing with grief. That's not an excuse. Like, I have to deal with grief, and I have to not have my ass on my shoulder, or oh, I got this going on, I got a lot going on, and they use that as an excuse to be full of crap. I'm trying to be mindful of my words. But it's like, I feel like it's BS at this point, especially if I'm younger than most of these people in all of these different groups and organizations, and I'm not one to compare. Oh, my bad. I'm not one to compare what I got going on. I don't talk about. I deal with it. I keep it pushing, and that's me. But I don't use that as an excuse to be a bitch. I don't use that as an excuse to be rude to someone. I don't use that as an excuse to just be negative, rude, nasty, mean, or whatever, and use that as a reasoning. Because at the end of the day, nobody gonna give a fuck. Everybody gonna have something going on. If you don't have something going on in your life, are you living? Like, life is going to life, but it's really how you deal with the situation at hand and how you get through it, how you learn your lesson and keep it pushing. Like, I don't know, it's just hearing you talk kind of had my brain.
Okay.
Like,
So, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, people do have things that go on. And, I mean, you could say so does everybody. So, at what point do you realize that you have to be able to be the one in control? Like, I've dealt with grief, and that probably was, like, the craziest. Like, I'm still dealing with it and still subconsciously dealing with it. Like, I think sometimes you'll self-sabotage, and you'll see people that self-sabotage. You'll see people that will come up with excuses or say, like, okay, maybe that's not how I should have been, how I should have been behaving because I was dealing with this, or maybe I should have dealt with this a little bit differently because I was feeling this way. But ultimately, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You feel whatever. You can have any excuse that you want.
Rick Ross said it best. Don't nobody give a fuck about your excuses but you. And like, at first I didn't understand that. I really didn't understand that. And then when I really started paying attention and breaking it down, you see, like, people really make excuses for the dumbest shit, and you be like, nobody did. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know if that's a cricket.
Where?
It caught them off the phone, and it's there now. I'm a focus.
Yeah, I'm like, well, damn, where's your focus? You're really bad. Now I have to edit it. I'm not editing. I'm just gonna let it be. So these are the things that I was talking about before the cricket really interrupted me. So no, I just think that we all go through things, and then I know when people say, "Oh, well, I was going through something," and I'm like, I have a lot going on too, and I go through stuff. So I just, and then when you have fucked up people around you that just don't really care about nothing but themselves, and it's about me, mine, and they're constantly draining your battery, they're constantly taking the positivity from you, it becomes draining, it becomes depressing, it becomes frustrating. So,
but that's where you gotta learn how to protect your energy at that point. Because there's people out here that's going to try to suck it up, whether it's intentional, non-intentional, consciously, subconsciously. It's people that's going to leech on to your energy and try to drain it. It's people that's going to latch on to you or wanting to be around you because they feel something they can't even pinpoint it. But then that's where you have to learn discernment. That's where you have to learn how to protect your energy, literally, like, where everybody is not deserving of it. Everybody is not deserving to be around you in your space and sharing your time and your energy and your thought process. And I think as human beings, we forget that we're infinite beings sometimes. So we stay in just the human mindset where it's like, we have to make things make sense for us and put something into a category or into a box in order for it to register in our brains, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's why we be so all over the place because we can't do that. We can't even put ourselves into a box. Like, as a human being, we're so complex and it's so much deeper to it. And then it's like, well, because this not making sense or this makes sense, this is what it, I think everything has to be in, like, what is it, the cookie
The cookie
cutter.
Mm-hmm.
And if it don't make sense there, then it's something wrong. It's not normal. It's not right. It's broken. It's something. And it's like, if we just release that thought process. Oh, okay. We was recording. Hold on.
So let me ask you this. What are some things that you think that we could do to be able to help the mindset of the people my age and, to help their mindset, to be able to help them get to a different place?
But honestly, first off, they're gonna want to have to want it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they don't want it, there ain't nothing that I could do, say, or whatever that's gonna be able to change it. But if it's someone that's willing to first take accountability and say, hey, it's always room to grow. It's always room to improve. I'm not the best version of myself. I can grow and be better. That's the first step. I feel like, too, if we bring consciousness to the mind, where a lot of the times people, we daydream,
Mm-hmm.
we
I was just
be so zoned out, we lose our consciousness of our mind and not realizing that our mind is really our power.
Mm-hmm.
Our mind is the computer that runs and navigates our bodies. I feel like, one, helping people understand that, doing different projects or exercises, because there's so many different things to do to change your mindset. But the biggest is, people, one, is going to want to have to want it. People are going to have to either A, I feel like it's the accountability that takes place to it too, because a lot of people feel like it's not me, nothing's wrong with me, it's the world. But then when you sit there and it's like, woe is me all the time, or every time you talking to this person, or whatever the case may be, it's always something negative. Oh, I got an example right now. I got a friend where I actually had to kind of fall back a little bit because his mindset was just like, it's draining.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I talk to him, oh yeah, I might have cancer. You know, life and death is in your tongue. If you speaking the negative
And that's
shit,
what
it's gonna be
I
the
watched
negative
the lady.
shit. Like,
Real talk. I watched the lady. Her mom had cancer, and she kept saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get cancer like my mom. Oh, I'm gonna get cancer like my mom." Her mom ended up dying. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die from cancer like my mom." And guess what? She talked that thing into existence because, like, she actually caught cancer, or however you say it. She got cancer, and she actually died from it just like her mom.
but
And it's like the power of life and death is in the tongue. And then I watched somebody else, like, they would joke around like, "Oh girl, I need to eat because I'm a diabetic, I'm a diabetic." And they wasn't. It was just playing, and then they became a diabetic. And then I watched somebody else, like, I watched the power of life and death in the tongue. I watched somebody say that they was going to get up and walk, and they wasn't able to, and they said they wasn't. They was like, "Oh yes I am," and they got up and they was able to walk. I watched somebody where it's like, all right, whatever they said, and so you do see the power of life and death is in the tongue, and so I'm really like, you're casting spells when you're speaking certain things.
those are the real curses, and I don't think people really understand
Mhm.
that, because they'll take
Mhm.
profanity and, oh, that's a curse. No,
Mhm.
no.
Mhm.
If I'm sitting here wishing negativity on you, now I'm cursing you. If I'm speaking negativity on my life, I'm now cursing my life. Like,
Mhm.
me saying bitch, shit, damn is not cursing. But if I'm saying, you know what, you ain't gonna never be shit, and whether it's me talking to myself or to the next person, that's more of a curse in my personal opinion. Like, because now, if first off, whatever you believe will come into fruition.
I agree with
And a
that.
lot of people really don't understand that. Like, that's the way. I'm gonna go just off of my personal experience. Where I was told I wasn't gonna live. Forget a walk-in or a driving or any. They didn't think I was gonna live, and I'm just sitting there looking at them like, oh, y'all got me bad. I don't care what y'all talking about. I don't care what y'all saying, how it look. I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be able to walk, and the bitch gonna get me a new car. And literally, not even a whole 2 months later, it happened. So it's really what you believe. But I also see people that, oh, I'm gonna have a stroke because y'all gonna stress me out, and I see that.
I've
So
seen
it's
it
really
happen. So
like
you can say the power of
you
life and death
create
is in
your
the tongue,
life.
because you are creating yourself. And whether you're feeling that you're manifesting these things subconsciously, you are. So you don't, like, you can say, all right, I'm not doing this, or I'm not going to do that, or I don't want this, and you're letting the universe know that these are the things that you want, or you're putting these curses on you. I don't want this, or you're going to make me this, or you're going to actually this. So these are the things that we're really trying to strive for, speaking positivity and saying positive things, and continue to speak beautiful things over each and every one of your lives, because ultimately you're the co-creator of your life. The universe is here. The universe created us as human beings, but we're infinite beings living in a human experience. So ultimately, you're able to create your life. If you feel that you're not gonna, I watched somebody say that they was gonna get something, they didn't know how they were gonna get it. They were gonna get it. So we're gonna start speaking these things. We're going to start reversing the curses. We're going to start moving forward and moving in the manifestation and co-creation of our own lives, because ultimately at the end of the day, you are what you believe. And if you believe that you're a sack of shit, you're going to be a sack of shit. But if you believe that you are the apple of God's eye, then you're going to be treated as accordingly. So these are the things, like, once you start realizing that it's all about your thought process, it's all about what you believe and how you start walking into it. But like, you can start believing that you're going to, let's say you want to get a new car. You know what? Start looking at the car that you want, whether it's the one that you think that you could afford or not. Stop looking at what you think you can afford, because the universe is always going to be able to provide something bigger, something better, something more profound than you could even think about. So let's start thinking in the right direction. Let's start moving in the positive direction. Let's start thinking that we'll be able to create the lives that we want. I think that's it for me right now. What about you? I like to say thank you for anybody that stayed to the end. I'm so excited about this project. I'm excited about the movement. It's just more so consistency and actually posting it. So I'm going to call myself accountable for actually putting this stuff together and getting it out for you guys to see, because hopefully there's a message that will be able to help at least one person. If I just was able to help one person and make them smile and brighten up their day, or illuminate their shitty world, because we all living in this shitty world.
The world is not shitty.
Okay. If you're living in
The
it.
world is not a shitty world. The world is not fucked up. Because I hear that all the time when people be like, oh, we living in a fucked up world. Mm-mm.
Okay, so
the world is a beautiful place. The world is very beautiful. It's the people inside the world with the fucked up mindset that makes the world a scary place. Because you got people that, but this is why it's like, all right, let's hope. We putting it out there, and that's all we can do on our end at this point. That's it.
So I like to say thank you for anybody that listened or paid attention to what we had to say. Hopefully somebody is able to be helped. Thank you for tuning in to Kicking It with Keneisha. Thank you for coming and being my guest. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. And tune in. We'll be dropping videos every single week. We'll just keep on tuning in, and hopefully we'll illuminate your world and just be able to be a shining bright light to the shitty world that we have, the shitty mindset. I'm sorry, I was saying it wrong. So hopefully we'll be able to illuminate a light in the shitty mindset of this world that's so beautiful today.
Yes, there we
okay,
go. There we
okay,
go.
That's it. So thank you for tuning in. You guys have a great day. Namaste.
Namaste.